What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Talking Halos. I'm your host today, Jared Timms, and I'm joined alongside my co-host, my partner in crime, Nate Green. Nate, wow.
Seven in a row. This is unbelievable. Welcome back, by the way. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank you.
We've missed you.
No, you guys
So
have not won seven in a row without me here. I've been
seven in a
debating about
row.
not
This
coming
is
on. The
it's
debate about not
unbelievable.
coming on to see what else Angels could do. But yeah, busy winning a. I had nothing to do with it. I mean, tip the cap to players, but busy winning a state title. Shout out to that one Hawaii fan that watches the show. That was a lot of fun. I'll say this. I'll say this. It felt good to beat them. Three-time defending state champions. It felt good to beat them instead of the other team that played them well right before us. But it was good to beat those guys. I'll say that. It felt a lot better. So, all right, let's now I got that out of the way. Now that everybody knows what I was doing. Let's get it rolling here. Before we get rolling, just want to thank everybody for watching and listening here at Talking Halos. Of course, you can follow us on all our social medias, X, Instagram, Facebook. You can follow myself on X, Jared_Timms, Nate at Nate Green 34. Tell a friend about the podcast. We're doing pretty good. We're having a lot of fun here. Angels are playing some good baseball. You got something you want to listen to on the way to work, because I know there's a lot of traffic and all that fun stuff. Or if you are just getting out of school and want to listen to a little bit of Angels baseball talk, we're here for you. Told you guys we'd be here throughout the entire year, and we're still here for you guys. Through the good and the bad, we're here. So, and of course, give us 1 second to pay those bills. All right, Nate. Like I said, won seven in a row. I don't know how they're doing it, but they won seven in a row. We'll talk about that here in a second. I got a question that has been on my mind for a little while. I'm sure is going through everybody's mind, and if it was up to me, I would have already done it. But are you extending Zach Neto and Logan Hoppy? I know they're coming off a hot series, but Zach Neto looks really stinking good right now.
Yeah, I think we both said it on the podcast during the off season. Like probably should extend at least one of them. I think we were on board with extending Neto at that time, just because of hey, he had come off a really good year. Yeah, he ended the year a little bit hurt, but we were waiting for Ohapi to prove that he could play for, a full season and be consistent for a full year. And I mean, this is kind of what Ohapi did last year, right? He started off really, really strong and uh, didn't play as good in August and September as we would have liked. But I mean, he's a young guy. He hadn't played this many games before, and he has a veteran behind him and Travis d'Arnaud who's done this before. So hopefully that helps get him through the whole year and like, hey, he's consistent for the entire season or as close as you possibly can be. So Neto for sure. The way Ohapi's played right now, I mean, it kind of reminds me of last year, maybe a little bit more. The one reason why I would say you don't even really have to wait on Logan Hoppy, just give him the extension. He does feel like the quote unquote leader of this clubhouse. He does feel like the guy who is going out and saying things. He is the one who's kind of making sure that everyone knows like what's going on with this team. And um, I even remember in the offseason when people were trying to give the Angels a hard time where uh, they said, hey, no cell phones in the locker room. And Ohapi goes, no, that was us. Like we wanted that. And that had nothing to do with the coaches. Like, yeah, the coaches brought it up, but we all decided that that was the right thing to do. And like, those are the type of things that you look for out of a leader and a guy that you want a part of this team for a long time, not a guy that's going to deflect or not really say too much in those moments. And so that would be the reason to extend Ohapi right now, just because he's playing really well. But on top of that, he seems to be like the captain of this team. Neto, what he's done on the field so far, he should be extended, especially coming from the Atlanta Braves background. Like this should have been done already.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, both coming off hot series against the Oakland A's, but Logan Hoppy this year, 275, 309, and 556, a 140 WRC plus, 14 big flies this year. I mean, he's gonna come back down to earth a little bit. He swinging and missing a little bit too much for my liking. But yes, I would firmly agree with that. You do extend Logan Hoppy. I don't know what a contract would even look like. I haven't even thought about that. Drop it down in the comments below if you've thought about it and you want to let us know what you think a Logan Hoppy extension might look like. How old is he right now? What is he? 25, age 25 season. So we'll kind of see where that goes there.
I
And then
got one actually if you want it.
let me go through Zach Neto here. Zach Neto, 296, 341, 560, a 151 WRC plus. Again, he's going to come back down to earth. 110% he's going to come back down to earth. But even when he does come back down to earth, we're probably talking about an all-star this year. He's 24 years old. He looks really stinking good defensively and yeah, I mean, both those guys, those are two guys up the middle that you build around. And I don't know, can you see my dog going crazy behind me? Couldn't I wasn't looking at it. Yeah, he is. But yeah, two guys 100% I would give extensions to. I'm trying to think of any Atlanta Braves extensions because they've done it a lot.
Well,
Or
that's why
what
I have one.
or what did Christian Campbell? What did Christian Campbell get?
No, but
I don't think that's fair.
I literally have a perfect one for Logan
Okay, go ahead.
Hoppy.
Oh, go ahead. What is it? The
Sean
Matt?
Murphy got
Oh,
6
no.
for 73 with Atlanta. I think you could up that to 8 for 100.
I
And
give them both. I
that's
think I give them both
pretty.
8 for 100.
I'd be fine with that. I don't know if
I
Neto
don't think
takes
Neto
8 for
does.
100. But I would say that like that number's pretty fair for what catchers are getting now. Like
Hmm?
the top catchers, that's kind of what they're getting. 8 for 100, that puts you at right around 12 and a half a year, which that's a steal with Logan Hoppy, and you're getting him for a couple years of his R, but he's also getting a little bit of money early. Um, Neto, trying to think of like deals
Well,
that have gotten done.
I,
Christian Campbell, I
he's.
feel like he hasn't proven enough, or Neto has proven a little bit more, so I didn't want to use him. Um,
I'm not going to throw the Bobby Witt contract extension out
no,
there because Bobby Witt is, I mean,
my
borderline Hall of Famer at the moment, like that type of player. And I don't think Zach Neto's that, but you know,
so Ron Acuna did sign 8 for 100.
hmm?
So that was he was 21 years old. He was coming off, you know, one really good year in
with
2018,
I'd
and
say with
then
I'd say with inflation, you go up 8 to 125 ish.
okay,
Just because like it's like Zach,
that's fine.
like we want you here type of thing.
Yeah, and then there's also two club options with that, which could make it 10 for 124, which if that's the thing that you can add into Neto's contract to make it 10 for 150, like we're sitting here going, hey, great job. That's 15 mil a year, at worst.
Yeah,
And I don't know, I think that'd be really good for Neto. I think he would take that and that would put him what, 35?
something like that. Yeah, and worst
So
comes to worst. We talked about this before. When Zach Neto gets older, even when Logan Hoppy gets older, and you don't want him to catch, slot him in at first base. Probably a decent third baseman. And Logan Hoppy, you could probably slot him in a corner outfield spot, and you're happy with it. Like I've had the thoughts in my head where it's like the Angels would have drafted Kyle Teal, which I was hoping they were going to do. Like, do you move Logan Hoppy to a corner outfield? Do you like? I think he becomes more. I think he becomes just that. He stays just as valuable, if not becomes more valuable, as that. I mean, maybe he's Taylor Ward's replacement. I don't know. I really don't. It's hard to think that way. But it's interesting. It's worth thinking about. Same thing with Zach Neto when he gets a little bit older. Does he become a second baseman? Does he become a third baseman? Like he plays shortstop pretty well. I think that he can make that transition to a corner, or not a corner, but up the middle second base or third base fairly easily. He's got a decent arm to do it as well. So, my
Will
big
Smith is 10 for 140, by the way.
eh, 14 a year,
He
14
just
a year,
signed that, and so like you put those two together, and you kind of have that 8
12 a
for
year.
100, which I think that's probably about fair for what O'Hoppy has done so far. And I don't know if he would say yes to that. I don't know if
Makes
his agent would be on with that, but it's probably about fair.
Starts making you feel better about the future though. Like you're like you got guys set in stone with Trout and things like that. Like it makes you feel better if you get those two guys under contract for sure.
Yep.
Before we get on to the recap, the one thing I do worry about, and it seems like this happens every year, Nate. And you don't have to give any explanations, but is the big man up top, Arty Moreno when it comes to these extensions, because I felt like they should have already done this. And we go into the off season of last year, and all of a sudden, Artie says, "Hey, we're out of money, and we don't see the Angels sign anybody for the rest of the off season." That type of thing. That's what worries me. What worries me the most is Arty Moreno saying, "Hey, we don't have enough money to extend these guys." Not being cheap or anything like that. Not that he has ever said we don't have money to go spend on certain players, but that would be my biggest worry. So, you got anything on that, or you want to just get on to the
Well,
recaps?
you are getting close to Rendon's contract being gone. He has, a year and a half left of his contract, so you are getting really close to being able to get rid of that one. And Taylor Ward makes Taylor Ward makes about 12 and a half. So you trade Taylor Ward at the deadline, you substitute that with the Logan Hoppy 12 and a half, and all of a sudden, like, you're not really you're not really spending any extra money. You're just like, you brought in a young guy for Taylor Ward, you moved Logan Hoppy to 12 and a half, and books don't look any different. They just have different names with making the money.
That's fair. That's fair. Oh, I'm just saying that
I,
always
I
does
understand,
work.
but it's not it there are ways around it.
There's always ways around it, Nate. There's always, but it seems like they can't figure those ways around it out very well.
Okay.
So all that being said, let's move on to the series recap. The Angels sweep against Oakland, in Oakland for the first time since the 90s, I believe. So it was.
Sacramento.
Well, I'm gonna call it Oakland. We're still in Oakland. No, you're right. In Sacramento, the Angels are playing well in minor league stadiums. I think they are now 6-1 in minor league
Yep.
stadiums, and averaging, I think, over 7 runs a game in those minor league stadiums, which is kind of funny to think about. But I mean, dude, they're playing good baseball right now. They're winning games. They're playing just well enough to win games. I know that they blew out the A's in these last 2 games, but it felt like it was close. It was close. It was close. And then all of a sudden the seventh inning comes around and it's 10, 10-5 or something like that. And you don't have to use Kenley Jansen. But Nate, how are they winning these games, man?
Timely hitting. Um, the bullpen has been decent. I won't say that they've been excellent, but they've been better than they were early.
And they've been
And
mismanaged.
huh?
I think they've been mismanaged a little bit too.
Um, over these last 7 games, it's hard to say that, but earlier maybe. Um,
It's fair. Starting pitching hasn't gone deep into games either, so that's probably
starting
why.
starting pitching has absolutely killed them. Like, literally, they have no business winning 7 in a row. The way their starting pitching has pitched. They're not throwing enough strikes. They're walking too many guys. They're walking the backup catcher like on 4 pitches. It's getting really bad from the starting pitching. They need to be better. But the bullpen has been able to handle some things. The nice thing about the bullpen too is they've been able to throw enough where they're available the next day, but not throw too much where they're unavailable. And like that has been able to help them with the way that their starting pitching has pitched so far. And honestly, like that's what it's come down to is the Dodgers bullpen and the Athletics bullpen has killed them in these 2 series. They've been really, really bad. The Angels
Very
bullpen has
bad.
been good enough to win baseball games, and they've had some timely hitting, a lot of home runs, and you and I have talked about this a lot. Like, this this is the way this team is constructed. They're going to have, spurts of 15, 20 games where they're going to look unbeatable. And then they're going to have 15 or 20 games where you're going to ask, is this team able to score a run? And we're going to be saying, I don't know, because that's kind of how it works when you rely on the long ball, is especially when they're all kind of in the same, like, you're all kind of in the same wavelength right now. Like, Ohapi, Ward, Neto, they all seem to be hot right now. Where a couple weeks ago it felt like they were all cold. So, Soler needs to get it going a little bit more, but at least he's hitting the ball harder than he was. So, yeah, I guess that's the way they've been winning baseball games. They're hitting more home runs than the other team.
Yeah, you hit it right on the nose, man. I was gonna say it. When this offense is going, this team is gonna win games. Like they're probably gonna out hit a lot of teams. Especially with the way that we've been seeing them of late. There aren't too many teams out there where it's like, man, it's gonna be a Texas Rangers in 2008 type of game where it's a 15-14 game. It's not a slow pitch softball game. The Angels are gonna out hit a lot of these teams. And we saw it in last 2 games of this series and a little bit in the Dodgers series too, where it's like, man, they just kind of out hit these teams. And yes, when the offense is going, this team is going to be very good. But when the offense isn't going, we're going to have spurts where everybody hates everybody hates this team. Like in all honesty, it's gonna be like, man, like, they're gonna have to
Johnny
change something.
Washington needs to go. Ron needs to
Exactly the
go.
way
Everyone needs to
we
go because they can't hit.
we talked about this like 2 3 weeks ago when I was on the podcast last. It was like, oh man, what, like everybody's down in the dumps and things like that. And right now, 7 games in a row, they're 1 game under 500. It's fantastic to see. Enjoy it right now, please. Like enjoy it, because 2 weeks from now they might have lost 5 in a row and have scored 5 runs. In all honesty, and I don't mean to be a Debbie Downer. They've won 7 in a row, and I'm extremely excited about that. And the Angels have Miami, another favorable series, which could shoot them right over 500. And we could be talking about them being maybe a playoff contender. And I'm not even going to talk about July yet because I don't know what's going to happen, and I don't want them to buy. But I mean, we could be talking at a point where I've said this for a while. If they can hang around into it in this until July. You never know. I'd prefer them not completely break down the farm system like they did in 2003, but I mean, I don't know. I'd prefer
2023.
2023. Sorry, I'm off.
Got you. I got you.
You know what I mean? So yeah, enjoy this while this lasts. Once the Angels cool off, it's going to be kind of misery again. You know, everybody's going to be like beyond the halo and wanting heads out there. And I apologize for calling you beyond the halo a couple weeks ago, but that's kind of the way that we were at here. But yeah, I mean, they're playing good baseball right now, so I'm not going to complain about it. Um, I'm interested to know if they can win the tight games, play the fundamental side of baseball where they can win those tight games. That's going to be the development side that I am most interested in. Like, I think for Logan Hoppy, the long ball is going to be around for a while. For Zach Neto, this isn't quite who he is, but I think this is pretty dang close to who he is going to be a top five shortstop in the AL and possibly in all of baseball for the next 5 years. I really do believe that. So things that I want to see here moving forward is what does Nolan Schanuel do? Can Joe Adell continue to build, or is he this 175 hitter who's going to hit a bunch of home runs? Is he Joey Gallo? Are we talking about letting him go this offseason? Are we talking, do you extend Taylor Ward? Do you, like, there's a lot of interesting questions. And
No.
I know. I'm
The
just throwing
answer
it
is
out there.
no.
I'm just throwing it out there, right?
The
A lot of
answer is no.
interesting things that the Angels could be doing. But yes, right now the going is good, and I'm extremely excited with where the Angels are at. We're back to the beginning of the year Angels, where it's like, man, they're not even at 500, but it's exciting baseball. They're winning baseball games, and that's all you can ask for. Is that fair to say?
Yeah. The numbers make no sense either. Like
Winning
the
baseball games, man. W's in the win column. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how they do it, you know, but they're doing it. What do you got? What are the stats?
seven seven errors in the last 7 games. They're top 5 in errors as a team in Major League Baseball. They are number 2 in walks allowed as a pitching staff.
Graham,
They're
real quick. I don't care about errors that much. Is like I watched
but
the Oakland. Oh, you watched the Oakland A's outfield, and you watched the Oakland A's in general, and they might not have had very many errors. In fact, I think I heard on the broadcast that they hadn't made an error in like 7 games, but you could tell they were a bad outfield. Like you could tell that they let balls drop in front of them. You could tell they didn't take good routes. You could tell that, Tyler Soderstrom was in the outfield and is not an outfielder by any means. Like you could tell those things.
they're
And
6th in errors, so it's not like they're much better. And you
I
can
don't care
point
too
to
much about
Taylor
errors.
Taylor Ward looking bad in the outfield. Like
Mhm.
they don't look good defensively. Like in the games that they've won tight, usually they've been pretty clean, and that's why it's kind of insane to see that they made 7 errors in the last 7 games. They're 7-0. That's typically not a good way to win baseball games.
Not
They're
costly errors.
they're number 2 in walks as a pitching staff. They're number 28 in strikeouts. Those two things don't go together. Usually, like if you're striking guys out and you're walking guys, it's like, okay, fine. Like you can get out of the tough jams, but they're like walking guys and not giving up any runs and not striking anyone out. That's insane. They're striking out a lot. They're not walking as much as you would like. Like all these stats make no sense, but all that matters is they are 3rd in home runs, and most of their home runs are coming with guys on base. That's all that matters. That's why they're winning baseball games right now. Like Taylor Ward hits the grand slam. Hoppy hits the 3-run homer against the Dodgers.
Ward hits a grand slam against the Padres.
Yeah. Ward hit the grand slam today. Neto has been hitting home runs, and yeah, some of them are leadoff homers that are getting things going, but some of them are in the fourth, fifth inning where he hits a 2-run homer. So I we'll see. This team makes no sense to buy on paper right now. I know you just brought that up, but who knows? There are weird things with Major League Baseball teams where it's like nothing makes sense, but they're winning, and that's kind of what the Angels are doing right now. And they're
All,
getting to go back home, which is nice.
all
They
this
haven't played a
without
lot of home games.
all this without Mike Trout. Yeah, and you mentioned it. They're coming home right now, and we'll get on to the preview here in a second. They come home right now, and it's a road trip that they shouldn't win. I think that's fair to say, right? Like you go to San Diego, and you're not expected. They won 2 of 3 in
They
San Diego,
lost
I
two of
think.
three.
They win 2 of 3 in San Diego. It's like, well,
They
you're not
lost two of
expect.
three.
Oh, they lost 2 of 3. Well, you go to LA, and you don't expect to win any games in LA, and all of
I
a
had
sudden
them
you
winning
sweep.
one. I
All of
thought
a
they'd
sudden you
win one.
sweep LA. Well, they haven't played the Dodgers well, so you go to LA, you go sweep the Dodgers, and then you go to Oakland. I know Oakland hasn't been playing all that well coming into this series, but they still were probably a better team on paper than the Angels, and they go and sweep Oakland, or the A's in Sacramento, and yeah, dubs are dubs. I don't care. Wins are
You
wins. It
got you got to
doesn't matter how
win.
you
You
do
got to
it.
win, right? No
Yeah.
matter what, you just got to win the games that are in front of you, and nobody cares who you beat in April, May, June. Like whether it's Miami, whether it's the Athletics, whether it's the Rockies, whether it's the Yankees or Dodgers, you just got to win baseball games because all those add up to the end of the year. It doesn't matter.
Yep. So, all right, let's get on to the preview here. Just as a reminder, I am 3-4 on the year. Nate, you are 3.5 and 5 on the year, and Derek is a lonely 2-5 on the year. If he listens to this, he's definitely giving me shit for that one. But he is down in the cellar. I absolutely love seeing that. Let's preview it. Miami Marlins series and play along with us if you would like to. The Angels in game one will throw Yusei Kikuchi looking for his first win as an Angel. He is 0-4 on the year against Sandy Alcantara. What do you got there, Nate? Win or loss?
This was actually really tough because uh, Kikuchi got a little banged up in his last start, had to leave early after
Pitched
trying
well.
to cover first base, huh?
He pitched well in that start, though, didn't
He
he?
was pitching. He was pitching good.
Yeah.
He had to get take. I thought he actually threw the ball really good actually in that start, but yeah, he got hurt covering first base. I'm gonna be curious to see how he does in this one. His last start was the Dodgers, and he was 5 2/3, 3 hits, 1 run, 4 walks, 7 Ks. So good start. I the Marlins are pesky though. I think Kikuchi gets it done. The Angels do. Alcantara has been awful this year, walking way too many guys, giving up way too many home runs. I think the Angels get it done 8 in a row.
I this tends to be the games where um the Angels let struggling pitchers and struggling hitters back into things. And I think this is going to kind of be where it's at. I think Sandy Alcantara goes out there and finds a way to shove against the Angels. I'm gonna say that they lose this game, ending the 7 game win streak. But yeah, that's where I'm at. Game two, Cal Quintrell against Jose Soriano. What do you got?
So he's the one that's really been frustrating to me. Like of all the starters, he's the one that I have the most like hype for. Kyle Hendricks, he hasn't been as advertised, but he hasn't really been way worse than I thought. I mean, like it's hard to be kind of worse. Um, Anderson's been as advertised, whatever. Kahanowitz, I never thought he was going to be that good, so like I'm not really too frustrated with where he's at. But Jose Soriano has one of the best stuffs on this staff. He is throwing way too many balls, walking way too many hitters. This is the game they lose just because Miami is pesky. They are going to piss off Jose Soriano just by walking and putting balls in play and getting knocks. This is the scary one for me.
I'll say this: Cal Quintrell doesn't strike out a lot of people. He lets people put the ball in play. That's kind of plays into how the Angels hit the ball. And I say Jose Soriano bounces back there in game two. I'm going to say that they win that game. They win this game. Game three, Edward Cabrera against Kyle Hendricks. I'll take this one right off the bat here, man.
Go
This
ahead.
is a tough one for me. I feel like I always we'll go against Kyle Hendricks in a sense, just because it is Kyle Hendricks. But I will say that the Angels win this game somehow, some way, like we talked about, winning 2 of 3. What do you got?
Yeah, I was gonna say Edward Cabrera has one start against the Angels. He threw the ball well in that one career start. Kyle Hendricks, we kind of know what he is, but somehow they're gonna win the game. I it makes no sense, but they're gonna win the game. 2 out of 3 is what I had too.
I
Do
like
we
it.
have? Oh no, we don't have them winning the same three. We just have them or the same two. We just have them both winning 2 out of 3.
2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. So
Okay, good,
good
good.
matchup here for the Angels to hopefully continue this hot stretch that they are on right now. We'll see how they hit in Anaheim. You got any final thoughts before I let everybody go? Where's Jose Soriano? What's his ERA down in AAA since you like him so much?
Jose Suarez, you mean?
All right, yeah. So I got mixed up. There you go.
Well, the fact that he's not on a major league roster shows that somebody's smarter than the Angels.
Oh my
Uh,
gosh.
Interesting guy though that got DFA'd. Joel Payampas, the Brewers guy,
No,
the
no.
Brewers reliever. He hasn't been as good as he was last year, but the Angels could use some big league relief pitching. They could use a guy that they could send down there and not have to worry about because I don't know. And then last thing, Wash needs to stand up for his guys a little bit more. I think that's I was pretty pissed off with that watching the athletic series. I know we're not going to get into it too much, but uh, the umpire show with Yohan Moncada, where he takes a ball, a called strike, should have been a ball, would have been ball four, takes it for strike two, and then gets pissed off and asks for time. The umpire doesn't give him time, and then calls him out on strikes for not being in the box. Is like absolutely ridiculous. Like Ron needs to actually put up a fight there and not just kind of go up and be like, "Oh, what'd you say? Oh, okay," and then walk away. Like that's ridiculous. Like I, if this team quits on Wash, that's going to be one of the points where it's like, all right, this guy doesn't even care about me. Not only does he call him out in the media at times when we feel like maybe it is Wash's fault, but he's like, oh no, I called the bunt sign and guy didn't get it down. Like, yeah, that stuff's frustrating, but like, gotta fight for your guys. That's we we need to see something more than whatever that was.